Hello, Keller Williams, and welcome to Latest in Labs. We're live streaming from my headquarters here in Austin, Texas. I'll be your host for today. My name is Adi Pavlich. I'm the Director of Innovation. And so today we'll be focused on some product updates. What's really cool about today is I'm going to show you a full gamut. I'm going to go over some products that are just recently released in general availability. So you'll see products that went live this week in referrals. But we're also going to show you a little bit behind the curtains what we're doing in dev and designs and how agents are collaborating with us in labs throughout all of those processes. So first, I want to kind of show you the agenda real quick. Like I mentioned, we'll be doing the product updates, got a few cool things to show you. And then we'll be reserving some time towards the end for questions and ahas and also next steps. And so really excited to be here today. We only have 30 minutes and we might have a market center joining us on the live stream as well today. We're really excited about that. So what I'd love to show you first today is referrals. We launched referrals to general availability in February of this year at Family Reunion, but we had some cool new updates that just went live earlier this week. So I'd kind of like to walk you through them and show you what we've implemented and why. And so if you go to my screen real quick, you'll see there's a few new buttons on referrals, specifically enter referral to track. So this is if you wanted to track a referral happening outside of the system, you could manually input all this information and it would still live in your pipeline. So that's something we got feedback from labs. When I say feedback from labs, obviously by now you should be very familiar. Every product in labs has this feedback button. Again, this is live. I'm on a demo account. You can submit this feedback and it goes directly to the team, the developers, and our labs analyst team that we churn out weekly reports of how we can make this product better and new features you guys want soon. And so what I'd love to show you today is something very, very cool. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to send a referral, right? And let's say for this example, I have a referral, but I don't have an agent I want to send it to. So this referral specifically is going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. And real quick, before I do that, let me show you real quick, this is the new map. What you'll notice is you can filter here by production. You can also filter by my network. And so if you have a referral network that you've built, you can actually now have a visual representation of what that looks like on the map. And obviously this is the default view we had prior, is where you can see all the market centers, but now we can start to view by production. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pretend like I have a referral I wanna send to someone in Atlanta. I don't know anyone in Atlanta. So as you can see, I'm filtering by production, but I don't see much. The reason being is that I have to zoom in at a much more granular view. Otherwise, there'd be a lot of blue dots because we do a lot of production at Keller Williams. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to zoom in a little bit north of Atlanta. And you'll notice every time I zoom in, the results on my right changes. That's because all these blue dots are actually live listings, transactions that have been completed in the last 12 months. And so the further closer I get to the area, as you can see, the list becomes more granular based off of who's doing production in that map. That's a really, really cool feature that we just implemented earlier this week. And what you'll also notice is that once I get under 200, so if I zoom out again, there's this little broadcast referral button, right? 373, I can't select it. But once I zoom in at a much more granular level, that broadcast referral button becomes red. Now, what is a broadcast referral? Essentially, a broadcast referral is that if you want to send a referral to someone in this area, but you're not sure quite who, so you can filter by listings and a couple of other filters, or you can do something really cool with your broadcast referral, is I can send it to all 25 of them anonymously. So let me show you what that looks like real quick. When I click this broadcast referral button, it's going to generate, just like I would send any referral, but it says send broadcast. Now, what this will allow me to do is to send a referral just like originally with the basic points of what the referral fee is like, what the deadline is like, what the price and the min and the max is. But what this is going to do is send it to all 25 agents in that area. And it's going to do that anonymously. So my information when we showed, neither will the clients. With that, the reason we built that, what that allows you to do is that instead of selecting one agent and sending them a referral and waiting to hear back from them and expiring, what we want to do is, we heard feedback, hey, I'd love to kind of send it to 20 people in that area and see who gets back to me first. So in this example, I would send the broadcast referral to 25 agents, and then maybe 5 to 7 would respond, and I would see everyone who responded, and then I could send the referral to whoever responded first. That way you're not wasting a lot of time sending referrals to someone that's not really picking up the phone, if you may. So the cool thing about that is I'll show you really quick what that looks like on Kelly. So as we mentioned, this is live today. But it's built on the Keller Cloud. So anything we do on Connect, we can also do on Kelly. So real quick, I'm going to show you my screen on my phone. and show you what that looks like if you're one of the agents who would receive this broadcast referral. And so really quick, before I do that, I believe we have the Georgia Legacy Group Market Center. I know you guys had some technical difficulties joining us really quick. From there, we have the market centers from 181, 367, and 315. Hey guys, hope you guys are liking my Atlanta, Georgia shout out in the demo. But yeah, so if I sent the broadcast referral to those 25 people in North Atlanta, this is what it would look like if I was one of those agents, right? And I would see that I received notification of here's my broadcast referral. And then you can see I have an anonymous agent here. And so what happens is when I click that, this is what it looks like. So you, on the opposite end of the referral, you would see that it comes from an anonymous agent. You get a little bit of information, and then you'd see you only have 30 minutes to respond. And so what this really helps you do is filter a referral partner that's very active and will respond to you very quickly. Because the one thing we found out is that on the average referral being sent on our platform, the expiration is about 24 hours. So there's a lot of people missing that deadline, whether they didn't have Kelly downloaded and weren't checking their notifications or weren't logging into KW Connect. We hope to resolve that by allowing you to, instead of doing one-to-one referrals with someone you may not know, you can do one-to-many now, see who responds, filter those people out, and then go through and select. And so coming back here, if I hit accept real quick, basically I can accept the broadcast referral and say, hey, I'm super excited to receive this broadcast from you. I know this area extensively. As you can see, I've done a lot of production in there. You can accept it, and you will be notified whenever the agent makes the decision of who's going to be to receive that referral, right? And so going back to the laptop real quick is essentially that's the concept of broadcast referrals. If you want to receive those notifications, you're going to get more of them now than ever before because there will be so many people broadcasting out. Make sure you download Kelly. That's your #1 way to get notified if someone's sending you referrals. And there's tons. I think we've closed over $4 to $5 billion of volume in referrals since launch in February. So that's money on the table you don't want to leave behind. Download Kelly and make sure you get those notifications. Cool, so I showed you how to do broadcast referrals, but something really cool that you'll see is that you can just basically view any area by production, and you can also filter, right? And so in this area, I can see 372 agents have been active in the last 12 months, but if I want to filter down to specifically, they've done 3 leases, that'll come down to 2, right? And so I can get very, very granular in a big area by zooming in and zooming out. So that's a really, really cool feature that just went live this week in referrals. And then obviously you can always go back to my referrals and manage your referrals just the way you've been doing it, but with some added functionality of how to grow your network, how to send a referral to a more specific area, and how to do a broadcast referral, which we think is gonna be really cool. And we built specifically based off the feedback we got from agents and labs. And so that's the new updates for referrals. That's in general availability now. I highly recommend you go on KW Connect and you start playing with it right now and maybe send some broadcast referrals out yourself. So what I'd love to do next is I want to talk to you a little bit about KW Connect groups. And so last live stream, we showed KW Command, right? And I showed you what we built in dev, and that's in controlled introduction right now in the labs process. But what we're hoping to do next is build out Command for Teams, and that's where KW Connect becomes really, really important. And so as we're building all of this technology out, we're building it with teams in mind. And so KW Connect groups and Teams is going to be a very, very large integrated piece of the Keller Cloud that will impact your day-to-day if you're on a team. And so before I go ahead, what I would love to show you is one, what we have in development, which is not a whole lot. The developers always kind of tell me not to showcase it because it's not perfect, it's not broken. But in the spirit of labs, that's exactly what we do, and we want to get your feedback on that as well. And so I'll show you a little bit of that, but also show you some of the designs that are more fleshed out, what that's going to look like in the future. But before we do that, I'd love to show you a little video about how we've been doing labs with large teams, specifically the Lance Loken group based out of Houston. Last Friday, the team, some designers, developers, and product managers, we drove down to Houston to spend a day with Lance's team. He has about 71 agents in his team, and we showcased a lot of the things we're working on, got a lot of feedback, mostly focused on how Command would work for teams. And so some of that feedback will also be based on what I'll show you today for Connect groups. But before I do that, I'll show you a little video about our experience visiting Lance in Houston last Friday.
We've been participating in all the labs, KW Command, we've been with Connect, we've been with Leverage. We started out with the referral process.
When we are providing feedback to the labs team, we are really giving them a lot of information of what we use on a day-to-day basis and how we use it.
We actually are in the trenches. We are the ones who are doing the paperwork aspect, and we're the ones who are using the system.
They told us right from the very beginning that nothing is impossible.
And there were a lot of, can we do this? Can we do that? And so Josh was constantly, the answer is always going to be yes. You just need to tell me what you want and we'll make it happen.
Having a platform that really helps you out to make you more efficient. It makes you a lot more committed to actually using it because you know as you use it, we'll be able to build it. And it gives you a lot of pride too to know that we're getting to help kind of put this together.
For any agent that has not participated in labs yet, there are still opportunities for you to provide your input and feedback. Go on Kelly, check out what's new, and test the products.
So obviously that's a great example of how we've been going out to the field to not only labs with agents, but understand what environment their teams are working in and observing them, shadowing them, understanding what your day-to-day looks like. So everything that we build fits your day-to-day and fits your activities that you do on a daily basis. And so that's a very key point of it. Obviously, I'd love to travel and see all 181,000 of you. Unfortunately, we can't, but you do have different ways you can get involved in labs, joining the wait list, clicking the feedback button, whether it's in referrals or Kelly. And that's a true testament of labs, but we really, really value the time we spend with agents. So I kind of want to show you, based off of those labs, some things we've tweaked for Connect Groups and talk you through how that's going to integrate with Command Teams. And so if you want to take a real quick view at my screen, what I'm going to show you is our design. So this is kind of our roadmap for KW Connect Groups. Think of this as like the future of KW Connect, right? And so this is something that you haven't seen yet, but you will hopefully shortly. So imagine as a whole new KW Connect being built on the Keller Cloud. As you can see, some of the feedback we've gotten from a lot of TLs especially, is who we test this with in labs, is that really it kind of looks and feels like Facebook. Right now you're probably using Facebook to do a lot of communication to your market center, and teams have their own challenges using either messaging applications like Slack, GroupMe, et cetera. But we're trying to create an environment where you can do both, right? And so you can go to a specific group here and you can kind of engage in conversations. You can create groups specifically for your teams, whether you want to just have a ISA board, whether you want to do a marketing channel, et cetera. You can add and manage members in there, much like you would in any other social networking or group messaging site. But the idea here is if you do it within Connect and if it integrates within Command, this is how you can have accountability and track all of your communications within teams. And so something we've learned through labs, we've known for a while, but seeing it every day is that agents communicate with each other and with their clients through multiple various channels, from text to email to phone calls, et cetera. And so what we're trying to do is help you build a platform where you can do that all within one solution. And Kelly's obviously going to be integrated to this. So imagine if Kelly can be your source of truth to do all of those communications across not just your clients, but your team members as well. So that's the concept that I'm showing you here today. So if you go back real quick, something we've thought through is how we can design members here, how you can manage and add members to your KW Connect group. You can also manage events. And so what's really interesting here is that if you've been paying attention to our live streams and our product updates, you see this little My Day View widget right here. What's really cool about this is the same widget you would see on your dashboard on Command. This is a quick insight into your calendar and the most important activities of your day. So tasks will be associated to this, smart plans, and also your KW Connect events. And so what's really cool, and what I hope that you're seeing with us, is that how these two worlds are merging, right? Connect, Command, Kelly, instead of thinking those as separate applications, they're all intertwined in the Keller Cloud. And so those little widgets is a great way, if you've been paying attention, to identify, oh, I've seen this before, and I'll probably see this even more if I go to Kelly and ask her, let me see my day. And so that's something we're working really hard to bring to you, and you'll start to see in our designs more and more. So going back to the screen real quick, another cool thing, and one of the main uses for KW Connect, is having access to resources, training, education, and any file management, right? Document storage that you may upload yourself, and having the ability to filter and view those all within the same platform is what we're building here really quick. And so these are the designs. These look really nice. These are really clean. But now I want to show you what the dev environment looks like. And so we talk a lot about the dev environment and what's in dev and what our engineers are working on, and what they hate when I do, but what I love to do is kind of show you what that really looks like. And what you're about to see is like very, very small, fleshed out. It's still in dev environment. It might break on us. But I just want to show you how we're taking these designs, we're translating them into development, and then as you see, they mature into actual products that we'll be releasing out through controlled introduction, limited availability, and general availability very soon. And so come back over to my screen. I'll show you real quick. This is what Connect Groups looks like in dev. As you can see, wow, it looks a lot different, right? Our designers, our UI team hasn't had the chance to touch it up yet, but as you can see, we're starting to filter out what that screen looks like, what the code is going to look like as far as having some messaging consistently across the teams or KW in general, having different page views where you can interact with teams, being able to post, and so I can say hello. Right, and so being able to do all these things, this is like the very, very early days. You can create new groups, but this is in development. We'll have this in labs very shortly with some agents, and I kind of thought it'd be cool to pull back the curtain and show you guys what this process really looks like on a day-to-day. And so essentially that's KW Connect Groups. It will be integrated with command, team management, how you communicate with your team, how you send leads, tasks, etc. It's going to be intertwined with this world, and so this is something that a concept we validated on Friday with our labs with Lance. We're doing some more labs next week, specifically on command and connect integrations, and something we hope to have in future, more mature phases of labs very shortly. And so that's kind of wanted to show you. And we have a little bit more time. What I'd love to show you next is what we call micro labs. And so I'm going to walk you really quickly through what microlabs are. You've heard me talk about it. You've heard me talk about the labs waitlist, the community, and microlabs. I'm going to walk you through that journey and how you can get access to those and start participating in labs even more. And so if we go over to my screen real quick, what I'm going to pull up is, here's KW Connect. Here's where you can go, kwconnect.com right now. And this is what it looks like. As you can see, we have some cool improvements. We have these shout outs to some of the megas that have been joining, so we can show you our recruiting pipeline. Something very cool is Gary's going to be speaking at Inman. Super excited about that. But let's go into resources, technology. So I wanted to show you how to get to the labs dashboard. We talk about the labs dashboard a lot. Click on the labs dashboard here, and what you're going to see is this is everything that we have in labs right now. I hope if you're really interested in what we're doing and what's coming down the pipe, you can always come here. It's a great source of truth to see what's out there. Kelly Snaps, for example, is in controlled introduction with 1,300 agents. I'd also, a little teaser here, I'd keep an eye on that one, as that one might mature to some of the other phases very, very soon as we open that up to more and more agents. But really what I want to show you at the very bottom, here on my screen, right below these very handsome, good-looking gentlemen, is the ability to join the labs waitlist, right? And so this is where you can go, you input your device type, you hit submit, and you're gonna join the waitlist. Now, this is the waitlist when we look to release some new products or experiences to a sample size, whether it's controlled introduction, limited availability, we use this waitlist. And so what that means is once you're on the waitlist, you're on the right path. What it also means is that you're gonna get an email inviting you to the labs community. The labs community lives on the KW Connect now. And so if I go to KW Connect right now, I'm gonna show you a little insight. If you're not a part of this community, this is our labs community. And in here, what we do is we go in, and obviously you can ask questions. You can see Brian Greener here from Asheville was wondering how you can get into Command CRM. We have a dedicated team within support and lab specialists who can kind of answer some of your questions there. But most importantly, at KW Technology, we'll post microlabs here. And so what a microlab is the ability when our engineers or designers are trying to make a very small decision, but a very large one, is they want to get feedback very, very quickly, right? And so instead of going through this process of sending out emails and inviting a bunch of agents to a lab, we want to just kind of send you a link and say, hey, can you take this like design test real quick, or can you help us make a decision? And based off of your responses is what goes into product. And so real quick, I'm going to click on this microlab, if we can go back to my screen, and it's going to bring up this landing page right here. I'm going to say view now, and essentially this is a microlab. If you haven't taken one, I won't walk you all the way through it, but you can go to lab, it'll ask, hey, where would you click to visit the group settings page on KW Connect, right? And so this is something I showed you recently. So let's say, hey, for settings, I'd click here, confirm click, and then you basically go through this test. Now, what does that look like to us? Well, here are the results. And so real quick, I'm going to show you what it looks like on our end and how we're using this information to create cooler and better products. And so what you're going to see here is that we had 1,054 agents respond to this microlab. We posted it, I think, Wednesday of this week. So that's pretty good response rate. You can see the average time is about 6 minutes. So spending even 5 minutes of your day, you can give us really insightful feedback. And so here's where our designer, Amber Stratman, for this project specifically, will look and say, oh, wow, people are clicking in a lot of different places trying to get access to group settings. That tells us either A, we need to be more mindful of how we can show group settings, or B, we need to have a bunch of different navigation paths to allow you to get there, because obviously the heat map shows you where people expect to be able to access that. And so going back to the screen, we can also do some really cool things. We can do tests to understand. We'll ask you a question on navigation test, and to see the success rate, you'll see 42% here, 69% on that one. 83% here. So basically what that tells us is that we're building something that's simple, that has a great user experience, that's easy to understand, easy to adopt. And so this is information that we work with our designers, with our developers, but also with our KWU team. So when we're developing training, we can identify if our users are struggling with anything in terms of navigation or trying to understand how to do a feature or functionality within KW Connect groups. And so I just really want to kind of show you how you can participate in those micro labs, what that looks like. But that whole journey starts right here, joining the labs waitlist. The biggest takeaway from today, for me personally, is going to be join the waitlist, give us feedback, and download Kelly so you can maximize some of the cool new features and products we have coming out on a weekly or every other week basis. And so that was what I wanted to show you today. We have about 10 minutes. And I love to dedicate that to having a conversation with you. And so if you're on KW Connect, you can input any questions or ahas you've had about today. Then we'll reserve some time to get to. But what we also have is we have our Market Center from North Atlanta, Georgia Legacy team. And I'd love to see if we have their audio set up. I'd love to kind of get their thoughts and see if they have any questions for me. Okay, no audio. Well, hello guys. Feel free to go on Slido, enter in any questions and ahas, and just let them know you're from the Georgia Legacy group, and I'll make sure I get to those first, make sure I answer your questions specifically, since you guys took the time to be here and call in, and we apologize for the technical difficulties. So great. While we're figuring that out, I'd love to get to the first question we have from Susan. How did he get to the Labs community where they have discussions? So how I got to the Labs community is I joined the waitlist. If I join the waitlist, I get an email inviting me to join the community, or a quick little trick, and that's the best way that you'll get invited to the labs, and you can also participate in micro labs. If you haven't joined the waitlist, or if you've missed that email, you can actually go to KW Connect and just search for Labs community, and it'll pop up on there, and you can request to join. It's a closed group, but we go through every week and we accept invites so people can join it that way. Keep mindful though, if you're not on the waitlist and just the Labs community, you might miss out invites to actual labs when we do early releases of some products as well. So I'd prefer you to do both, but that's how you can find it. Next question from Sam Jackson. In referral, we will have the ability to identify leadership roles. For example, if I want to connect a recruit with a team leader OP in a city, 100%. So something we're doing is specializations, right? And so on there, on the filters that I kind of quickly glossed over, is the ability to look for luxury agents, KW land, commercial, and then obviously we're working on leadership roles as well for Market Center, so you can find who the right person is and you can contact them that way. We're building specifically for sending client referrals, but that's an interesting use case as well. You can send recruits, leverage referrals to do that as well. We'll 100% support you in doing that. So that's one way you can get involved. And those filters are all on the top of that map. You can kind of play with those. And we got more specializations and filters coming shortly. Okay, next up. North Atlanta, here we go. We got a question from the Georgia Legacy Group. We have many teams in our office. How do we get all the team members to be included in the same labs? And so that's a very good question. That's kind of if you're, some of you on the labs wait list and some of you on the KW community group, if you all join, there's a much stronger chance that you'll get invited to all of the labs. But the challenge we have, and the reason we created the labs community, is because we can only, as you saw in dev, that environment, right, for example, is very, very early. And so we want to limit the amount of the controlled environment in which we get feedback from agents. So we'll only invite 20 or 30 or a couple of agents at first to give us feedback. And as the product matures, we'll open up to more and more people. And so if you wanted your entire Market Center or team to engage with it, I would set the expectation that something that's more closer to limited availability or controlled introduction, those labs will be probably a better fit for you. But you can also go on ideas.kw.com if there's some feedback or a new idea you want to share with us regarding teams. But very shortly, we'll be launching access to some of the larger labs, specifically in KW Command and Kelly as well. So another one from North Atlanta. Do the filters for luxury agents work yet for referrals? Yes, and so we're still we just went general availability this week. One promise we do have to you with everything we launch is that it will break, right? This is the promise of Labs, is that we're moving very, very fast. We're partnering with you to build what we're hearing you say. We understand those specializations and filters are very important. I myself have gone through and still identified some bugs with some specializations, but we're 100% working on those. Those are a priority, and we have a dedicated Labs analyst team that's looking at all the feedback. I'd encourage you to go test it out for yourself. If it doesn't work, hit the feedback button and let us know, and we'll get right on top of that. So that's a very important bug that we're trying to fix, and we understand that those specializations are very crucial as well. Next question, another one from North Atlanta. Will KW Command have its own document management solution replacing Dotloop? So it's a very interesting question. And so what I want to talk to you about is what Command will entail, right? And offer management deals is a very big part of that. Will it replace Dotloop? No. So whatever you're doing today, you will continue to do as we build out Command. What it will allow you is that we'll integrate with Dotloop as a partner and allow you full transparency and access into all of your deals, your listings, your transactions, your contracts, and you'll be able to pull up that information very quickly on Kelly. And so if I understood that question correctly, Command will be kind of the source eventually of where you'll have all of your information regarding transactions, regarding your clients, your leads, and you have full transparency from cold lead to closed. We're 100% building that in mind, but some of those things are going to be fleshed out first before others, and so we will be working and leveraging transaction management platform like Dotloop in the meantime. Cool. So last question we have is from Mark Logu. As Kelly continues to expand, what would you say is the next big thing that will be released in Kelly? And so I don't know if you guys have seen or had access to Kelly Snaps. That's a very big skill coming out here shortly because it does a couple of things. One, it's going to be tying in MLS information with neighborhood boundary information through our strategic partnership with Nextdoor. And it's going to allow you to do a very quick snapshot of your market at a zip code or neighborhood level. That's a huge one because there's a couple of things. One, it does a very complex integration of a couple of different systems in Kelly. So that's kind of the power of Killer Cloud. Two, maps are coming to Kelly. So you'll be able to not only see market reports, but as you can imagine, on top of that, you'll be able to see your listings very quickly on a map view. You'll be able to find agents and even send referrals based on that map view. So I'd say the biggest game changer is today you see Kelly as kind of a text interface. That's going to evolve very shortly as we attach more complex skills within Kelly, and a map view is actually a pretty big piece of that we're really excited about. So that's probably the next big thing I'm excited about, but there's a ton coming down the pipe if I had to prioritize. We'd need a whole nother new live stream for Kelly, and honestly we just might based off your feedback. So those are the questions and ahas for today. Now before we leave, first off I want to thank the Georgia Legacy group for joining us today. I'm so sorry we had some technical difficulties with the sound. You guys are awesome. Really appreciate the questions. I hope you guys enjoyed the demo. Hope you learned something today. And then lastly, what I'd love to do is kind of just as a sign off, give you a couple next steps. Number one, sign up for the Labs waitlist. This is how you get involved. This is how you get your voice heard. This is how you influence what we develop in Labs. Make sure you update your KW Connect profile. This is how people are going to be able to find you in your specializations like luxury, land, commercial, and a lot more things coming to that profile as well. Grow your referral network. Now you got broadcast referrals. There's no reason not to grow your network, engage with referrals, and download Kelly so you can make sure that you get those referrals, you get those opportunities. And honestly, as you saw, the expiration time on that example was 30 minutes. And so without getting a notification on your phone, I don't know about you, but I'd probably miss that in a very busy day. So make sure you download Kelly and please submit feedback, go to Kelly, go to referrals, go to Connect, tell us how we're doing, tell us what you'd like to do with us next. And thank you so much for joining us on this journey. Really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a good weekend and a good 4th of July. Thanks for your time and have a wonderful day.